Hey everyone, this is Preezy from the Listen Up, Listen In podcast. Go check me out. But you gotta check out the Nathaniel Noble Jr. podcast at www.mrnoblepodcast.com. That's www.mrnoblepodcast.com. What's the podcast about? Well, let me break it down for you. He talks about life because it happens to everyone, with great guests and indie artists, Q&A sessions, along with positive vibes, talking to everyday people about life's journey and to connect hearts and souls of the common woman and man. Whether it's education, motivation, determination, and letting out some frustration, you gotta check out the Nathaniel Noble Jr. podcast. Do you have a story to share? Well, sign up to be a guest. He's on all the podcast platforms. That's the Nathaniel Noble Jr. podcast. Let's get it.
Tanya, you ready?
Listen up, listen in. 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 Thanks for tuning in. Let's have a conversation. Talking worldwide, it don't matter your location. What you going through and the topic may have relation. Let's get some motivation. Let's swap out education. Every Friday we heal, laugh, improve, and grow. Put some nutrients in your mind, give you food for the soul. I know you pumped and preparing for your weekend and low. Might as well join the discussion and tune into the show.
Hello everybody, what's going on? This is Miss Esther, and I'm back. Yes, welcome to another episode of Black History, Slavery in America. How y'all feeling? I hope everybody's doing good. Today, wait a minute. Before I get started, I want to say, God is good all the time. And all the time, God is good. That's right. Now I got to talk about the law and God. Anyway, today's episode, I want to talk about Harriet Tubman. Y'all know who Harriet Tubman is? Oh, wait a minute. Before we get started, I just want to tell all my friends out there, they told me to remind them to take their Metamucil, 'cause they forget, and they was gonna tune on the show to listen, but they said, Miss Esther, could you just make an announcement? And I had to say, everybody out there, don't forget to take your Metamucil. You know what Metamucil is, right? Well, look it up. It cleans your body. Makes you feel good inside. Well, anyway, let's talk about, please always giving me 75 papers. Every time I turn around. Anyway, we want to talk about Harriet Tubman. Now, I won't be able to tell the whole story about Harriet Tubman, because Harriet Tubman got a lot of stuff going on. She did a lot. You understand? So it might be a part 1. And turn around and be a part 2. Okay? Pay attention. Now, you see, Harriet Tubman. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was an escaped enslaved woman who became a conductor on the Underground Railroad. Now, some people may say Underground Railroad. You mean like the number 2, the 5, the A, and the C? No, you silly whippersnappers. Not a real underground railroad with the trains on the tracks. That's just what they call it. But you got to listen to understand what the Underground Railroad was. Now, like I said, she was an escaped enslaved woman who became a conductor. Y'all know what a conductor is. If you rode the trains, you would. On the Underground Railroad, leading enslaved people to freedom before the Civil War. All while carrying a bounty on her head. Y'all know what a bounty is, right? That's like when, let me break it down to you. When somebody's looking for you, and they want you so bad they got a price on you. If you find this person, I'll give you $50. If you find this old dirty heifer, I'll give you $25. That's like having a bounty. But see, in this situation, her bounty was, I think it probably was dead or alive. But let me continue. But she was also a nurse. Oh, Lord, she was a nurse. Michelle's a nurse. Oh, Michelle, I was talking about, I'm a nurse. She proud to be a nurse. That's nice. But see, Miss Harriet was a nurse, a Union spy, and a woman's suffrage supporter. Now, Tubman is one of the most recognized icons in American history, and her legacy has been inspired countless people from every race and background. Now, a lot of people ask, when was Harriet Tubman born? Well, I'm going to tell you, because I wasn't there. I know I wasn't around when Harriet Tubman was here. And don't you get smart. I don't need to hear no Harriet Tubman jokes. Now, Harriet Tubman was born around 1820. Lord, my goodness. On a plantation in what they say, Dorchester County, Maryland. Her parents, Harriet Ritt, that's like a nickname they get, Ritt Green and Benjamin Ross, named her Araminta Ross and called her Minty. Oh yeah, Araminta. Yeah, that she would want to change that. Araminta Ross. Lady gave him a little nickname named Minty. Like a mint, but you add the Y. Rick worked as a cook in the plantation's big house, and Benjamin was a timber worker. And see, Araminta, a.k.a. Harriet Tubman, later changed her first name to Harriet in honor of her mother. You see, her mother name was Ritt, and she added the Harry. And so you put the Harry and the Ritt together, you get Harriet. Ain't that something? Lord. Harriet had 8 brothers and sisters, but the realities of slavery eventually forced many of them apart. Ain't that sad? And despite Ritt's attempts to keep the family together, she couldn't. Or they separated. She tried. And see, when Harriet was 5 years old, that's cinco in Spanish, she was rented out as a nursemaid where she was whipped when the baby cried, leaving her with permanent emotional and physical scars. Ain't that something? And the person's baby cried. Harriet got beat for it. That don't make no sense. Around age 7, Harriet was rented out to a planter to set muskrat traps, and was later rented out as a field hand. Oh, she rented out like she was some type of furniture or something. Rented out. How do you rent out a human being? Now, only person I know that rent out themselves is the ladies of the night. They do that. But that sounds bad. Because the ladies of the night, they get paid. I ain't saying this right, but they get paid for their services. She was rented out. Ain't that something? Now the masters probably got paid for renting her out. She didn't get nothing. Let me continue. She later said she preferred physical plantation and rather work to endure domestic chores. She didn't want to be being passed out. You got her doing 7 years old. She's a planter to set muskrat traps and then working in the field. Now she would rather work in the plantation. Harriet's desire for justice became apparent at age 12 when she spotted an overseer about to throw a heavy weight at a fugitive. And Harriet stepped between the enslaved person and the overseer, and the weight struck in the head. You see, that weight struck in the head. She went between them, hit her right in the head. And she later said about the incident, the weight broke my skull, and they carried me to the house, all bleeding and fainting. I had no bed, no place to lie down on at all. And they laid me, on the seat of the loom. And she said she stayed there all day and the next day. And because of this good deed, it left her with headaches and I think they call it narcolepsy. That's a long word too. And she had it for the rest of her life, causing her to fall into a deep sleep at random. She also started having vivid dreams and hallucinations, which she often claimed were religious visions. She was a staunch Christian, and her infirmity made her unattractive to potential slave buyers and renters. And in 1840, Harriet's father was set free, and Harriet learned that Rit's owner, last will, had set Rit and her children, including Harriet, free too. But you see, Rit's new owner refused to recognize that will, and he kept Rit. Harriet and the rest of her children in bondage. Ain't that sad? Ain't that sad? She was supposed to be free, but the new owner said no. And around 1844, Harriet married John Tubman. He was a free black man, and he changed her last name from Ross to Tubman. And the marriage was not good, and the knowledge that two of her brothers Ben and Henry were about to be sold provoked Harriet to plan an escape. And on September 17th, 1849, Harriet, Ben, and Henry escaped their Maryland plantation. The brothers, however, changed their minds and went back. Oh Lord. With the help of the Underground Railroad, Harriet persevered and traveled 90 miles north to Pennsylvania and freedom. Tubman found work as a housekeeper in Philadelphia, but she wasn't satisfied living free on her own. She wanted freedom for her loved ones and friends too, yes. She soon returned to the South. Oh, she was a brave soul. She returned to the South to lead her niece and her niece's children to Philadelphia via the Underground Railroad. That's the path she made, to get her from state to state. And at one point she tried to bring her husband John north. You know that sucker? He remarried. Ain't that something? And chose to stay in Maryland with his new wife. Now that make me mad. She done did all of that to come back to save him. And he done got me remarried. Oh, Lord, it don't make no sense. Well, she became a fugitive. She did. And what I'm going to do is read you that part. And when part 2 next week come out, you will know the rest of Harriet Tubman. But let me tell you about her becoming a fugitive now. You see, the 1850 Fugitive Slave Act allowed fugitive and freed workers in the North to be captured and enslaved. You understand? This made Harriet's role as an Underground Railroad conductor much harder now and forced her to lead enslaved people further north to Canada. Traveling at night, usually in the spring or fall when the days were shorter. She carried a gun now. She had a piece of steel. I don't know if it was a Smith & Wesson, but I know she carried a gun for both her own protection and to encourage her charges who might be having second thoughts. Because Harriet said, let me tell you something. I don't jeopardize my life to come back and save her. I don't need no stupid dummy heads getting scared and nervous. Talking about, I think I changed my mind. Oh, no, you ain't gonna be changing your mind. If you're coming with me, that's it. Ain't gonna be going back. Because you go back, you're gonna get caught. And then they gonna find me. And now they gonna kill me. So you got a choice. You either come with me, or you feel this piece of steel. That's what she said. I know that's what she said. Don't tell me she didn't say that. I know she did. She carried a gun for both her own protection and to encourage her charges who might be having second thoughts. She often drugged babies and young children to prevent slave catchers from hearing their cries. Lord. She had to drug them. Babies walking through the Underground Railroad, they might have been high, but they were saved. And that's what was important. Over the next 10 years, Harriet befriended other abolitionists such as Frederick Douglass. We're going to talk about him later on. Thomas Garrett and Martha Coffin Wright. And they established her own Underground Railroad network. Ain't that something? She had a network. A lot of people have networks. But that's another story. It's widely reported She what that word is? I don't like that word. Every time I hear that word, I get messed up. Emancipated. Yes. She emancipated 300 enslaved people. However, those numbers may have been estimated and exaggerated by her biographer, Sarah Bradford, since Harriet herself claimed the numbers was much lower. Nevertheless, it's believed Harriet personally led at least 70 enslaved people to freedom, including her elderly parents, Lord have mercy, and instructed dozens of others on how to escape on their own. She claimed, "I never ran my train off the track, and I never lost a passenger." Oh, Lord, Harriet Tubman was a beautiful woman. She was a spy, too. But we will get into that next time. I hope you enjoyed the first part of Harriet Tubman. Her story is very powerful, yet long, and so I decided to just break it up. Don't want y'all to start slipping and falling asleep, 'cause you can't fall asleep when I'm talking to Harriet Tubman, 'cause I know if you was next to me, I'd bop you in your head and tell you to wake up. I'm speaking about Moses. Harriet Tubman. I just want to say to everybody, God bless you, and always remember this. You got to be safe. Be your own Harriet Tubman. Do the right thing. Lead the mighty way. And always remember, keep both feet on the ground. If the left one slip up, don't let the right one slip up. Let the right one lift the left one up so you can walk straight. And if you can't walk straight, get a cane. And if that don't work, sit in that wheelchair. But you keep rolling and stay focused. Don't matter who you are. Don't matter what ailment that you have. Remain strong. We can all be like Harriet Tubman, little Moses. Stay focused, ladies and gentlemen, and make sure that you remember that God is good all the time. And all the time, God is good. Y'all have a beautiful night. God bless. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye, babies.
Yay!
Oh, thank you.
That concludes this episode of Listen Up, Listen In with your host, Preezy. Hey, yo, Preezy, tell them how to keep in touch, baby.
Go to Instagram, Listen Up, Listen In 5687, and on Facebook, Listen Up, Listen In. You can also email me at listenuplistenin5687@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, by following me on social media, you'll be able to see all the platforms my podcast is on. Wherever you consume my podcast, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when a new episode is posted. Rate, review, and share this podcast.
Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Yeah.